when we start breaking up or problems start building and piling up, it wasn't much that we.
Blessings, blessings. Blessings, blessings. Like, tag, share. Invite someone in with us. Tell somebody that we are live right now. And we'd love to have you as our guest. Oh, why does my voice start sounding only me? We invite you in. We invite you in. Over. Space.
Blessings. Probably don't jump up here.
Go get in your bed, Pearl. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Come on in. Come on in. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm so glad to have my bestie with us tonight. Hey, Shay.
What?
You gonna talk about
Mm-mm. Nobody's saying that.
You calling Shay nobody?
I said, hey. I did. I said blessings. Can you see me? I look little.
Tonight we continue talking about these emotions. So far we have done love and we've done anger. We've touched on abandonment and we have talked about anxiety because that was something that you all asked us to discuss. And if at any time there's any other type of emotion or life issue and you want us to talk about it, we will. But our main purpose is to make sure that at the end of any conversation, you learn a little bit more about loving the me that you see. And you should be able to love yourself without excuse and without apologies. You have a right to love yourself enough so that you realize when real love is not there. If you can finally get to the point of knowing what you love about you and what it will take for you to be happy, then you will be a better communicator to those who come into your life and are trying to build a friendship or a relationship or even marriage. And that's something that we need to know up front. We need to be making sure that we are whole when we enter into any kind of relationship, whether it be a platonic friendship, whatever it is. If it's going to be a relationship, something that two people or more are involved in, you owe it to yourself and others to be truthful about who you are. And if you don't know what it's going to take to love yourself, that means that you have not yet become whole. And you will not be whole until you find that out, because there'll always be something in your relationship that doesn't work or that causes you to run in the wrong direction because you don't see what you're looking for. We don't want unexpected unspoken expectations to be the reason why. Hey, Tika. Hey, Reverend Al. Um, you don't want unspoken expectations to be the reason why you don't succeed in relationships, whether it be, like I said, a platonic friendship. There are male and female best friend relationships. If you're just starting to date and you're trying to build that friendship, unless you know what is going to take to make you happy, you're already starting off with danger signs, because you can't expect somebody to give to you what you don't provide to them or know how to. And so for some of us, as we said before, all we've known is toxicity. And that goes back to our childhood, watching our parents fight or beat on one another or disrespect each other verbally, or, one or the other just left the home. There's so many of us that have dealt with these things, and we did not realize how much it played a part in our present day situations. So on tonight, my bestie is going with another emotion, and that emotion tonight is going to be
Abandonment.
abandonment. And we touched on it before, but she is going to talk to you guys. She has so much to offer. Tell somebody else to jump on. Tonight, we're going to talk about abandonment, and you might even find out that you got abandonment issues. Let's go see. Sing your hands, bestie.
So, those of you that's on here, Apostle said some things. What do you feel abandonment is? Let's see what we're working with tonight. What do you feel a bit? Hi, Al. What do you feel abandonment is? Let's dive into this a little bit now. I don't have a whole lot to say, but we're going to dive into. Let's see if I can invite some people on here.
You're on my page. I'm not there.
I can never figure out how to get there. I always go from your page. Okay. That's good. Missionary Shanae, what do you think abandonment is? Those are the ones that I can see. What do you think? Blessings. What do you think abandonment is? Elder in training said being rejected, someone dropping you without reason or cause. That's a good statement. Let's see. What are some other abandonment issues that you feel abandonment? What is abandonment to you? I'm going to tell you what it is and what I found out abandonment is, and a lot of us are dealing with abandonment issues and don't even know it, and we are grown and well on our way, and we still have some not feeling unwanted done. Okay, so some signs to know that you deal with abandonment. The first one is relationship. Tonight we're going to talk first about relationships, because I feel that a lot of us that are in relationships or that was in relationships, the reason why it's not effective is because we have not identified that feeling of being unwanted, that feeling of being, yes,
She meant not feeling wanted.
not feeling wanted, yes, that feeling of um abandonment. So you might have difficulty forming secure attachments or maintaining healthy relationships. That is one sign that says you have abandonment. You might have difficulty forming secure attachments or maintaining healthy relationships. You might also feel insecure or anxious in relationships, or have difficulty trusting others. And I know for my facts, for myself, some of us that are on here tonight have issues trusting others, letting other people in, letting people be there for us. A lot of us, I hear somebody say, well, I didn't want to be a burden to you, or I didn't want to bother you, or I didn't know if you had time. That's a form of abandonment because it's what someone did to you. they let you down, they drop you, they left you with that feeling like you didn't matter, or how you felt didn't matter. So that is a sure sign that you suffer with abandonment issues. You might also have the tendency to hold on to unhealthy relationships, even if the relationship is abusive. You still hold on to it because you're fear of rejection. They busting me upside the head every night. We in there fist fighting, going back and forth. And even if you're not fighting with your hands, verbal abuse hurts more than you punching me. I'm gonna tell you why. Because you could punch me tonight and I can heal from that. It might take me a little bit of time to heal. I might even have a black eye. But words, once you say it, will play in your head for years on down. I'm telling you, I'm a witness. When you think you over that thing and something happened and something come up and you start replaying in your mind what was said to you, it could have been 5 years ago. But if it hurt you, somewhere in your subconscious mind, is still there and you have not let it go. So that is also a sign of abandonment. All right. Emotions. You might feel a persistent sense of distress or having feelings of worthlessness, inadequacy. You might also have re- difficulty saying what your emotions are. You may also have difficulties in saying what your emotions are. So when you are dealing with abandonment, that is one of the things you will face. Shay says, sometimes I can be very distant, and someone told me I was very unapproachable. Well, that goes along with sometimes us having abandonment issues because we distance ourselves from the people that are supposed to be there to help us. We distance ourselves from people that are supposed to be there to help us. Let me see. Let me just I'm telling somebody we on. Um, and so that is definitely a form of um, having abandonment, Shay, because you find yourself distancing yourself from people that love you, people that want to be there for you, people that want to fight for you, people that want to help you build the relationship. And we distance ourselves. We be like, I'm just good by myself. I don't need nobody. You got a best friend. I don't want to be bothered with them today. I could do this by myself. But everybody needs somebody. I want you to remember that. Everybody, we are not on the island by ourselves. And some of us feel like, oh, I could do this by myself. I don't need your help. I don't need you to be here for me. No, stop it. That's a part of being abandoned. Okay? Behavior is another part of being abandonment. Abandoned. You might display people pleasing behaviors. You might display people pleasing behaviors. What do I mean by people pleasing? Doing whatever they ask you to do just so they could be happy, but you know that you ain't happy. Or I'm doing it because I don't want them to be mad at me. Or I'm going to do it because I don't want them to be upset with me. That's a part of abandonment. You feel like, okay, you know what? I got to do it. I'm going to do it even though I know it's not going to make me happy, but I'm going to still do it. That's a part of being abandoned. Come on, we got to do better, people. And until we heal from that part of being abandoned, we will always find ourselves there. People pleasing. Stop being a brown noser. All right. Um, Try to make yourself indispensable to others. You might have difficulty establishing boundaries or have a tendency to avoid vulnerability. That thing bless me because not so much of our men, our women too, but men don't like to be vulnerable. They feel like if I become vulnerable with you, I'm letting you in a side of me that no one has ever been there before. So they hold that from us. They don't become vulnerable. They keep that part of them, what would you say, to themselves because they don't want to be vulnerable because they're afraid if I'm vulnerable with my friend or if I'm vulnerable with my lady, they may leave me, they may abandon me, they may do just some crazy stuff that we go through when we are facing abandonment issues. Okay, you might experience separation anxiety or have an intense sensitivity to criticize or rejection. So how many of us feel like, let's take me and my bestie for instance. When I first met her as her being my bestie and she got ready to go home, I used to always think she wasn't never coming back. I used to always feel like it was too good to be true to have a bestie that understood where you were or that gave as much as you gave. Have you ever been in a friendship with someone and you was always the giver, and that person never gave nothing back to you? And then you get that one person, it's like, oh man, what she want? Why is she sticking around? Why is she here? And that was one of the fears, but I didn't understand that that was a part of rejection. I mean, abandonment. And we can run, still rejection too. We can run someone away because of our abandonment issues. Oh, what they here for? They loving me too much. This is too good to be true. You got abandonment issues and you need help. All right? Abandonment issues can develop after experiencing abandonment in childhood. It always starts in all of our emotions that we face. It starts from when we were a child. Everything that we go through starts from our younger years. We don't just wake up when we become an adult and say, oh, I feel abandoned today. I got anxiety today. I'm anxious today. No, something happened to you in your life that caused you to be here. Whether you were in a relationship with someone and they left you, we talked about being in foster care. I was in foster care most of my life, so I felt like I was just not good enough. Why did my mother leave? Why did my mother have me and leave me? What caused her to want to be on drugs with me? What me out of all six of us, why was I so different? So that caused me to feel like nobody would ever love me or nobody could ever be there for me because my mother gave me up or because I was in foster care or because I don't know who my father is. All of these are a part of experiencing abandonment issues from a childhood. Maybe you were sexually assaulted. Maybe someone raped or molested you and they left you feeling empty. They took your innocence at a young age. So it left you open. It left you feeling like um that I can't explain it unless you've been through it. It's that feeling of worthlessness. Like, what did I do to deserve this? So that is a part of abandonment. Loss of an intimate partner, loss of a mother or a father, loss of friendships. That can also be a part of it, abandonment. Everyone in their lives at one point or another will experience some type of abandonment. But it is very important that you seek the right help to help you heal from your abandonment issues, or you will always run someone away that's close to you because you have abandonment issues. You will never trust. Every time somebody try to tell you something, you always try to make up a reason why, or you always try to go above and beyond to get back at them or to do something to hurt them because I'm gonna get them before they get me. That used to be me. I'm gonna get them before they get me. Before they hurt me, I'm gonna hurt them. That's abandonment issues, and you will never find yourself healed as long as you deal with abandonment issues because you are always out to hurt somebody else. And I think that is a real sick person that's always out to see somebody else fail, to see somebody else not make it, or to tell somebody else this person is never going to be nothing, or they never going to do nothing, they never going to amount to anything. You have some serious abandonment issues and you need help. So I'm going to stop there because I want to hear some from the apostle, and then I'm going to come back and ask you some more questions.
Yeah, you was on speed.
I have to
So, I want to just piggyback. I really wanted to hear my bestie for the rest of this evening. So it's going to be back in her court in a few minutes. But one of the last set of phrases or categories that she brought up about abandonment is loss of parents. And I was sharing with you all, hey, Miss Lee, I was sharing with you all on last week how I didn't realize that I had abandonment issues when it came to my dad. It wasn't until I started going to therapy, honey, Jesus in therapy will make it all right. And in talking to my counselor, I forgot how we got back to even my father. I think we were talking about abandonment in that session. And I was like, I felt like that's what my father did to me. My father abandoned me. That's how I saw it. And I didn't put the word abandonment to it until about a couple of weeks ago. I just felt bad or hurt that my dad died, but I really felt abandoned because he was the one that I had the primary relationship with. Even though my mom was there, my relationship was with dad. Every week I could count on everything that we were going to be doing, where we were going to be going to shop, what was going to be happening. We always went to see him after Sunday school. Whoever walked with me to the store, he bought us that was when candy really was penny candy. But I really felt abandoned. I felt like he just left me. There was no warning. There was no type of preparation to get me ready for his departure. I went to school happy and came home devastated because I never even got to say goodbye. So why would you leave me like that? And that was something that I had to work through. Um, and I'm telling you, it was like baffling to me to realize that that's what the situation was when it came to me and my father and him dying at such a young age with me. Blessings, elder. Um, but I felt abandoned. Like, you just dropped me. You just left me. Like, I think I was blaming him like he knew he was leaving that day, but that's what I felt. And so abandonment happens, you know, the one of the similar words that they go as we say a synonym is desertion. You deserted me. That's
wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, man, like that's real. You deserted me. Like, you were the one thing I knew I could always count on. You were the one thing that I talked to. Now, why didn't I feel that way with my mom? Um, I didn't feel that my mom abandoned me. I felt like God deserted me because he took the only thing I had left that resembled anything close to what I had as family. Yes.
Abandonment, being abandoned is not a healthy. It's not healthy because it leads to other things like
Suicidal
anxiety, suicidal thoughts,
depression.
depression. Everything triggers something. It's like dominoes. I love dominoes, and that's the effect that it has on you. Like, once one thing hit, everything just falls. They giving you names that you ain't never even heard of. Probably get in here. In the bathroom.
No, she was by the garbage. She came from by the back door.
Oh,
Get in your bed.
I need to see her.
Thank you. Stay in there. Sorry, y'all. That's our little Shih Tzu acting like she don't know we looking at her.
But
So you were saying?
that's what I was saying. It's an unhealthy. It's a fear that once something is lost, it never comes back, and it's always triggered from something. Maybe we need to call and see what happened the last time. What's she saying?
Who, Shay? Mm-hmm. She was like, I talk to my bestie. We talk and text every day.
Get down.
If she does give me space, she only gives me the most 3 days. We like to play games together online. Even if I don't want to talk, we play games to take my mind off of what's going on for a while. Abandonment is a very painful emotion.
Stop looking at my feet. Get in your bed.
A very painful emotion because it leaves you devastated. It leaves you empty. It leaves you breathless almost, and if it is not resolved or if it has not been attended to, I should say, like at least a discussion, with somebody here and there about that fact, then you now grow with it. So and that's what people don't understand. They say, oh, that was back when I was a child. Yeah, but you're living it out now, because we didn't get a chance to express ourselves when we were younger because we was going to get our mouth slapped, or we was going to get on punishment, or they was going to have tarry service, because they considered it rebellious because you had a question about what you were being told to do. And so you have all of those things locked up inside of you. And if you have not had that person that you could talk to constantly free yourself of all of the weight of the stuff that was going on, that means that you've just been growing the desertion. Just like you get it, you grow older every year, that desertion grows with you. And that's how long you keep on building it, as long as you're alive, until you're ready to deal with the fact that this is where I am. Some people are ashamed to acknowledge the issues that they have, but where does healing come from if you're ashamed to let somebody know you need it? We can't help. I tell people all the time, we don't communicate through osmosis, and we shouldn't have to be in the prophetic 24/7 when you got a mouth. You have to be able to, and which is affected as with that too. Abandonment also affects your trust with other people, because I don't want to give you enough information to bring us closer together, because as soon as I do that, you probably going to desert me too.
Yes.
Or that when you find that you have abandonment issues, or issues with desertion, you can't handle when your friend has another friend. Facts. You can't handle when your friend has another friend, because you feel like they're not gonna want to be with you no more,
or they're gonna give that person more time than they give you. When in all reality, you should be allowed to have other friends. That, to me, that's a form of control. That's another
it's called
issue.
manipulation, and it's also called witchcraft.
Yeah, it is, because you're so jealous. You don't want your friend to have another friend, or they can't talk to nobody else. You're the only one that they can talk to. That's just like church. Like, you can't go to nobody else's church. I only want you to be with me.
Amen.
Like, that's a cult, and it's a form of witchcraft. But abandonment is real, and if you are suffering, some people might not even know until they watch this that they are dealing with abandonment issues. And once you get to the root cause of that abandonment, then all the other triggers you'll be able to get under control. But you first got to get you some help.
You first got to acknowledge you have a problem.
Right. You acknowledge that you have the problem, and then you find you a good therapist, one that you ain't got to counsel, because therapist is
oh my God, the first one I had to counsel him more.
I did too. He was asking me questions. I'm like, who counseling who here?
I was like, I know this is supposed to be about me, but you just go ahead. I'll let you have this session.
Yes.
And then it just became every session, like 5 minutes on me and 25 on him.
Yeah, no.
But
you need a good therapist, somebody that can help walk you through it, or that can identify with the fact that you have abandonment issues. And it's not going to be easy. When you start dealing with these triggers, it open up everything.
Woo!
It open up everything. So you got to be ready to deal with all the emotions that it open up to you once you start dealing with your abandonment issues, because it just, it's almost like you just got emotions all over the place. Like, you don't know which one to deal with first, because we hit that main thing. Once you pop that main thing, then everything else in your life can line up. And abandonment issues, again, come from the loss of a loved one, relationships, broken promises. Somebody made you a promise and they ain't come through, and deaths, and all of these things. But I've come to find out that abandonment issues are worse when you have been touched inappropriately, when you have trusted someone with your heart and they broke your heart, or they left you, they abandoned you, they dropped you. That's another cause of abandonment. All of these things happen, and it causes you to second guess yourself. I found out too that it's also why we suffer from low self-esteem.
Yes, abandonment issues, because you feel unworthy, because what you counted on dropped you. Like I said, that's how, when I realized that's how I felt about my dad, I was like, oh my God, I know he died, but at the same time, I felt like he deserted me.
Hey, chick.
Like, he deserted me. He just
baby girl,
left me here to live with these people, and that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? I was like 9 years old. You left me here to deal with these people, and you know that my relationship was with you. I told you everything. He was my greatest defender. And so when you get to that point, and like I said, and you asking God for healing, make sure you want it. that you're asking God for healing. How do I know I want it? Because my mind and my heart are touching and agreeing. They're with one accord. Not one. We're not going to war with ourselves because God ain't coming in the midst of that. And hey, Ro. And so you hear me talking about the living cemeteries. Why am I referring to them as a living cemetery? Because we've been carrying this around since we were 9, to some of us even younger than that, have been touched and handled inappropriately. And so now that you realize that that wasn't love because you thought that was Uncle so-and-so, so you thought that they had to be doing the right thing because you were too young to know the difference. But all of that stuff, as you grow older and you still don't deal with it because of shame, fear.
Yes, it's all of this is true. And baby girl, that's what we were saying before you came on. Sidebar, chick, go look at the socks that me and Apostle did. Your little lady will look nice in them. Y'all go look at the socks. But before baby girl Isha came on, that was some of the things we were saying. Most times it could cause depression and suicide. All of these emotions trigger one after the other, that domino effect. It opens up so many things, but we got to be willing. You know what I find out?
You gotta want healing. We're gonna talk about, do what you don't want.
Next week we're gonna talk about pity. Put that in one of your notes so I won't forget. That's the emotion, pity. In order to deal with these emotions, we don't have time for pity. You gotta admit that you have a problem. You gotta want to seek help with the problem and stop always, woe is me.
Oh my God.
Because there's somebody else that's worse off than you. And I don't want to talk about pity tonight because we're going to talk about it next week. But pity, we ain't got time to be pity. We ain't got time to be pity.
Pity can cost you a
pity
relationship.
Or petty. If you're trying to get healed from the emotions that you're going through. It just wants to do this every week, huh? Yeah, we're going to talk about pity next week. Write that down somewhere, Tika, so I remember for next week, because I got a whole lot to say about pity. That was one of the church in pity. But we're going to stay on abandonment for tonight. But it is very much true. All of these things happen, like Tika said, when her father passed away. Because her father was the epitome of her. She loved her dad. Like everywhere you saw, that. Everywhere you saw Tika, we used to call him Swiss Roll. Everywhere you saw Tika, you saw Swiss Roll. And so when her dad passed and her grandma, those were two very vital people that were in her life. And it causes you to question and ask God, why did you do
sends
such
you to a very
such?
Dark place if you don't watch it.
Yes, but we can't stay there. Even being in a dark place, at some point in your life, I give people the max of a year to 2 years. If you're in the same place 6 years later, that's a problem. You don't want help.
You don't.
You're happy about being where you are. You're happy about being where you are. You're happy about being stuck because you want people to pity you. But it's time for us to come up out of there.
Grow up. Get off the milk.
Get off the titty.
Try some meat. So yeah. So that's what we're saying. And in order to be healed, you have to be willing to actually bury those living things into the grave where they belong. We say that, I use the term living cemetery. That's what I call it. Because if you're not healed and it's still the stuff from the childhood, it's alive because it's walking around with you every single day. And every time somebody does something to trigger that, that's what you respond to. You're not even responding to the person. You're responding to the thing that triggered you. And it triggered you because you have not yet been healed from that thing. How do I know that I've been healed from any given thing? It depends on who did it, when they did it, how they did it, how long it lasted,
right.
But it has to happen. But you're healed when you're talking about it and you're not breaking down in tears all the time. You know that you're healed when you can be in the room with them and still say hello and have good conversation and still worship the Father. They ain't got to come back to where you are. But
I'll take the steak for 200, Alex.
And so you got to, be willing to let go. Some people hold on to it because it's the only thing that's providing them strength. Like they realize if they get healed, then they don't have no reason to be as nasty as they being. Or if they decide that they are really truly ready for healing, then you can't hold on. First of all, we ain't supposed to be holding on to grudges anyway.
Yes.
There's so many things that are spoken scriptural wise that can help us understand that we're not supposed to be even going to bed angry. The Bible says don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Be angry and sin not. Most of us think it's anger that's the sin. No, it's what you do while you're angry. But that's a whole nother week. So abandonment, desertion. If you had to take a poll, if you had 10 friends in the same room and you say, how many of you have ever felt abandoned? And you might, they might sit there and a couple of them might have a question in their mind while some raise, and then you use the word desertion, deserted. You'll find out everybody raises their hand because at some point in life, something that mattered to you disappeared.
Something that you thought would never leave you.
That part.
And people say that.
I find that out my mother wasn't going to live forever.
I find that out a lot in church too. I be telling people, don't say that to me. I'm never going nowhere. I'm always going to be right here by your side, no matter what happened. And then soon as somebody else make you mad in the church, I got to suffer because somebody else made you mad. So we got to be careful with promises that we make and know that you don't know whether you're going to be able to keep them. So that also can cause you to feel abandoned.
And we talk about foster care because that's something that Apostle has, truth in. It's not something she's wondering about. It's something that she's experienced and can handle, firsthand. But then there are those who feel abandoned and they're not aware of. They're not aware of how to present it in a way where it won't turn others off. Sometimes our defense is so strong that it keeps anything good out. And how can we receive that healing? But we have to be willing to let somebody in. Everything that's similar is not the same. Just because I sound like I'm getting ready to say something somebody else said does not mean that that's what's getting ready to happen. But because you heard the first 3 words, you just shut down after that. You just let go of any opportunity of good coming out of it. Being abandoned is real. Just the fact that if mommy and daddy broke up and now you're living, your mom and your daddy are in 2 different places, that children feel abandoned. They also feel like they at fault. Like, why? Maybe it's because of me. That's why they're not together. Because every time they was arguing, it was about me. When in all actuality, it really wasn't. It was just the easiest thing to talk about. But we're going to leave that right there.
All right.
So, what did you say? I was just about to say that because I just knew I'm telling you, you couldn't make me believe my mother wasn't going to be one of the ones in the rapture. I was just taken out of here, and I was very upset with God because I knew the life she lived. And I couldn't understand if that was the case. If that's all we got to look forward to, then what am I doing? That was where I was at that time. I'm getting better, but I just couldn't understand why that woman of faith right there had to be the one that left at the time that she did. But God is still in control. He knows all things. But I can't say that I felt the same type of departure as I did with my dad. With mommy, I had an opportunity. I was right there, when her day came. But with my father, I didn't have an option. He died on a day that we were supposed to go to the movies. There was just so much attached to that. Tanasia says, I'm very good at shutting down, but I'm coming to the realization that it's real toxic.
It is definitely toxic. And as I said earlier, I applaud you because even though you were shutting down, you bounced back rather quickly than normal. And so when you do that, that shows growth. That shows that something that's being done is being applied. Me and Apostle say to everybody, or whoever we talk to, whoever we counsel, whoever, because a lot of people call us because of the knowledge that we have. And we say to them, if you're not going to apply it, don't call me. Because if you're gonna
You're
ask
wasting my
us for
time.
I could be making shirts with my time. She could be doing something else with her time. I don't have time to sit with you for 5 hours and you ain't gonna apply nothing we
Nothing.
said. That's a waste of your time and mine. So when you apply it, then there's definitely noticeable. But again, shutting down comes from abandonment, us not realizing that we were really dropped at one point. Whatever the issue is, you were engaged. You thought that you were going to be married this time,
My savior.
and then it didn't happen. So that was another something else build up on top of your dad dying, and then friends that you thought would be there forever, they left. So that's another. So it's like layers on top of layers. But as you begin to peel the layers off, just like with an orange, as you peel the top layer off and you begin to split that orange open, there's still some white stuff on the orange. I peel mine off. Some people may eat it. It all depends. But that's a choice that you have to make. How much are you willing to peel and leave off and not put it back on?
Another word that is associated with abandonment that kind of surprised me, I guess, is jealousy.
Jealousy, yes.
I was like, huh? How does that even? But then when we think about the fact of you not want nobody to be as close to this individual, and we experience these kind of things. Those people who go out their way to make sure that everybody else is at odds with each other so that everybody is only friendly with me. That takes too much energy for one. Two, that's just downright mean. That you would not afford someone else the opportunity to have a good working relationship with anybody, whether it be church, whether it be at home, whether it be at work, or just in a community. Like, you are to present yourself friendly. So if you spend most of your time trying to make sure everybody else is not friendly, and then when everybody start looking at the other one and then they come out and you got that one central location, now everybody got to back away, even though the Bible says mark them that sow discord. I'm gonna leave that alone. But yes, jealousy, and it's like you can't be happy for no.
Kill somebody.
You just can't be happy. Instead of you really being happy that somebody found a friend or is able to get along with somebody now that they couldn't
other than you,
and now and you just can't handle it. You get jealous.
And then you start doing dumb stuff.
Stupid
Stuff that you'd be like, now why did you do that? You know that was wrong. And instead of us saying, you know what, I really am jealous because maybe you give such and such more time than me, then find something to do with your time. While they having their time, find something to do with your time. I don't have that issue because I don't have friends. So I don't have that issue. They looking at me like that. I don't.
Leaving somebody with no intent to return.
Oof.
Leaving somebody with no intent to return. And I would have to say that the foster care system is one probably of the most well-known organizations throughout the world that experiences that on a daily basis. Even when it comes time for open adoption day and everybody's coming in and looking like everybody's finding a family or somebody that likes them and wants to take them home for the weekend, and you the one still left there, and then you're feeling like abandoned at that point. But also not just about being left there, but when your person comes back that lives in the foster, you're gonna be mad at them because somebody picked them. It's not their fault, but that's what tends to happen. Why'd they pick you and not me? And they start looking for little things that they can pinpoint as to, but you do that and they still took you. You know what I'm saying? It takes you through a whole lot of mental anguish. It takes you through some mental anguish. And if you're not careful, it does lead to depression. Depression, psychologically, according to colleges and psychology professors, depression leads to suicidal thoughts. Suicidal thoughts lead to suicidal attempts, and some follow through and make sure. Most times, if people tell you they want to kill themselves, they already want you to tell them not to. If it's going to happen, they're not going to tell you. Most times, they don't let you know because that's the point. They don't want nobody to stop them. They feel like they have nothing else to offer. And when you experience abandonment issues, sometimes that is where it has you mentally. Like you don't have anything to offer. Like I thought I was giving everything and they still left. I did everything they wanted me to do and they still left. I gave them all my money and they still left. I always made sure they could go wherever we were and they still left.
Cause you people pleasing or
Like I told you about how I made these pacts with different ones in my younger years, and we all was, because everybody was musical, so we was like, okay, well, whoever get there first, we're gonna come back for the other one. I'm the only one who thought about everybody else. I'm not lying. I wish I could say I was. And now you going on doing your thing, and you don't even say, would you like to participate? Like you can walk in the room and act like you don't see me, or you can downplay who I am to others, but I'm not going there with you.
Why do people do that? Why do you try to downplay me to somebody else on the
To
down
make you
low,
look big.
but you always in my face? Like,
Don't talk to me in private and deny me in public. Don't do it.
Yes. Oh, that's a status. Wait a minute. Y'all, I'm about to post that on Facebook so you see it.
It's too much. It's too much. And with somebody who is having abandonment issues, you gotta handle them so differently.
What you say? Don't deny me. Don't speak to me in private and deny.
Don't speak to me in private and then deny me publicly. It's devastating. Abandonment is devastating. And I think that we don't spend enough time healing or giving people room to heal.
Mm-hmm.
We just expect them to just be over. Oh, that happened when you was 10 years old. I can't believe you're still holding that. Yes, it meant something to me. What do you mean? I didn't have the life that you had. Thank you so much. And so then when you hear remarks like that, now somebody else who was going to say something doesn't, because of how you responded to the first person who did say something. Y'all telling us to talk. Then when we talk, you make us feel bad about still feeling that way. How do I ever heal if every time I open my wound, you pour alcohol in?
Jesus.
So, abandonment can cause very, very devastating results. And so we want to make sure that that's not who we are. We want to make sure that we are trying to help those. We want to make sure that we are not the reason why somebody's afraid to say what they feel. We are so transparent and so open. That's why I don't understand, but I'm going to leave that. It's another conversation. I'm not doing it. But I'm not doing it. Almost got me. Jesus came just when that part. So that is our evening. Unless Apostle, who's got me caught out there. Unless Apostle would like to have some more words. I think she did wonderful with you guys
talking about
tonight.
pity next week, y'all. Make sure y'all tune back in.
All right. Tell somebody to stop being pitiful and join us on next Wednesday. And most people don't like to don't want to acknowledge that pity is what they're seeking. And for some people, they really don't realize that that's what's going on.
Love you, baby girl.
That's what's going on. I love you, Ma. Pity is a turnoff.
Don't talk about it tonight, though.
Oh, okay.
We gotta talk about it next
week.
week.
We're gonna talk about it next week. Tell somebody to join us on next week. Even if they would like to come on and be our guest and be the one that's answering the questions of the people or responding to the statements of the people, whichever way you want to do it, you're welcome to come on. We say it every week. We don't ever say that we are the all tell of everything. We don't know everything. And if we don't, we're not going to act like we do. And we don't mind because we're not afraid of losing to anyone. We don't mind saying you might want to ask so-and-so, or hey, we don't have an answer for you tonight, but let us look into it. Maybe we could bring somebody on next week. We this is who we are. We give you what we've been through. We give you what God gives us as a combination between the two. It usually works out pretty good. Usually, and so we trust God to do so. We've lasted this long because we've trusted God, and He has let us know that our time is not up. So we'll meet with you on next Wednesday at 9:15, praying no technical. I don't know why I'd always wait till it's time for Loving to Me I See to start acting simple. But we're going to try to make sure all of the kinks are worked out before that time on next Wednesday. Meet us here next Wednesday at 9:15 as the topic of discussion is pity. Are you pitiful?
Or are you petty? Good night, everybody. We love you. We love you. We will see you on next week. Pray for us. We pray that you have a prosperous rest of the week. We pray that God will give you your heart's desire. We pray that He will do something unexpected, unapologetically dope. That's what our prayer is for all of us, because I need Him to come and suddenly. So as you pray for us, we will pray for you. We love you. Thank you for always joining us on Loving the Me I See. Thank you for always commenting, making yourselves a part. We love each and every one of you. Have a good night, all, and may God bless you, is our prayer. Good night.
Good night.